Hey, what up? My name is Sky, like the big blue sky, and today I want to show you a creative email template that generated over 700 sales calls in less than 12 months for my last consulting business. Now, I want to preface this because the time where I was using this template the most was back in 2021, and since then, deliverability has changed a lot. But with that being said, I still think this copy framework is extremely powerful and it can give you a lot of results if it's used correctly. So if you do want to use a template like this, I wouldn't recommend mass blasting and automating this for cold prospecting. You can, but you're playing a dangerous game from a deliverability perspective if you do. Ideally, you'll want to spread the sends of this framework or this template out across as many email accounts as possible, and you'll want to mix it in with other plain text emails as well, because this framework that I'm about to show you, it uses image personalization at scale. Okay, either way, the use cases that I think now in April 2023, where I think this framework would be the most effective, are things like customer expansion plays. So if you're an enterprise SDR or account executive, you can use this framework really effectively to prospect into current customers to try and cross-sell, upsell them into other versions or tiers of your product. So another play where I feel like this would be really effective is with partnership plays. So let's say you're an agency and you want to white label your services by partnering with other agencies, so they're able to essentially feed you clients, but they just don't offer the specific service that you do. So if you are a PPC agency and you want to partner with other SEO agencies because they have clients who could use your services, but they don't have the expertise, they can white label your services, and you can reach out to these other agencies using this framework or template, and I think it'd be really effective for you. And then the final example that I think would work really well is if you have a podcast or a YouTube channel and you interview people on your channel, this can again be a really great way to stand out in a crowded inbox and get other new guests on your channel. So okay, let's dive into the template. There's 3 parts. The first part is the hook, and the hook is comprised of the subject line, the first line of the email, and then the image personalization. All 3 of those parts work together as the hook for the email. The second part of this email template is typically something like your value proposition. So it's who you are, what you do, what you're selling, or the problem that you solve. And then finally, the third part is the call to action. So okay, let's take a look at the template and a specific example and how it's applied to the podcast use case. So you're inviting someone to be a guest on your podcast. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got our hook. And so the subject line is first name, you're on my fridge. And then the email opens up, it says, hey, first name, I've been meaning to email you. I literally wrote your name down on my fridge. And so the prospect, they're gonna see this subject line and this preview text in their inbox, and it's gonna spark so much curiosity, they're gonna have to read the email. They open it up and now they've got this image personalization here. And as you can see in the template, we've got first name and last name as personalized tokens. So it's gonna plop their first name and their last name in here on the list. So in order to pull off a template like this, you're gonna wanna use a tool like Lemlist or Hyperize, because it'll allow you to do the image personalization. Otherwise, you're gonna have to make a bunch of sticky note to do the to-do list lists and put it on your fridge. Take pictures, it's gonna be a pain in the butt. You could automate this with a tool like Lemlist or Hyperize. So okay, that's the hook. Next, we've got the second piece, which is the value prop and the call to action. So I've seen a lot of your content on my feed the past couple of weeks, and I thought you'd be a great guest for our podcast. For context, each week we cover blank topics, and we currently have an audience of X number of listeners across these channels. We've already had a couple great guests, like guests 1, 2, and 3. Any interest in joining for an episode? So okay, outside of having the right tools to be able to pull this off, the biggest thing that I really want you to take away from this is that the hook is what does most of the heavy lifting for you. Like, there's nothing really special about this copy. Of course, you can get more fancy, you can have more compelling copy here, but it's the hook that's doing the heavy lifting because it piques so much curiosity. Someone is gonna open this and then they're gonna see the picture and they're gonna be like, oh my God, this is hilarious. I have to read this. What is this all about? And that's the goal, because most people, they open an email or they get a cold email, they're gonna throw it into spam unless it really grabs their attention, which this does. And so the more people we can get to read the email, the higher chances our responses are, which means the higher chances of getting a conversion. But another thing I like about this framework is how dynamic the hook is by itself, because if you think about it, there's nothing unique to this hook for the podcast campaign. You can take this same hook and apply it to a bunch of different use cases. And to take that even further, the concept here that we're applying in this hook is a concept that I call storyline injection. And so I think it's important to understand how to think about this too, because you might not want to use this exact fridge play example. Maybe you have another way of using this same structure to be creative in an email and use image personalization. And so the idea behind this is that we are injecting a story into the copy to make it more compelling, and we're telling that story in the hook and through the image personalization. And obviously the story here is cheeky, it's fake, it's fun. Most people are gonna know that this is just cheeky marketing and that you didn't actually put your name down on their fridge, but they're gonna think it's a fun way to capture their attention. And most people will engage with you positively with a play like this. So to give you another real quick example of how the storyline injection concept is applied, I don't have a template for you here, but another way that we went about this in the past was it was like, first name, your calendar is full, and it was like, hey, first name, I've been meaning to book time with you, but I noticed that your calendar is already full. And then it had a picture of Caroline holding up a full calendar. And then when it went into the value prop, it had a transition sentence where it was like, oops, my mistake, I was actually looking at your calendar 60 days in the future. And that was a nice transition into a value prop for what we did, which was to fill their calendar. So again, it was a cheeky way to inject a story into the copy, make it more compelling and fun, and then use the image personalization. And in the image personalization, we put like the person's first name on the calendar, so the image was personalized to them. So okay, now let's take a look at another example. Let's say you're a software founder, you just launched a new product, you've got some beta users, and you want to get feedback from them, but you're having trouble getting them to respond back to you or meet with you to tell you about their experience with your product. Here's another way that we can apply this same template. And as you can see, boom, the hook is the exact same here, right? It's like, first name, you're on my fridge. Hey, first name, I've been meaning to email you. I literally wrote your name down on my fridge. Boom, same picture. Of course, you can change this copy up depending on the situation, but what I wanted to show you here is that this same hook, if you're using the storyline injection principle, you can take clever hooks that you've created and apply them to new angles and new different versions of the copy. And so as you can see here, we go on and the value prop and the call to action is different. So it's like, I noticed you signed up to try my product, but it doesn't look like you've gotten a chance to use it very much. We're still in beta and we want to make a product that you'll love and enjoy. So your feedback at this early stage is crucial. I'd love to understand what you liked about our product so far and where you think it's falling short. Would you be open to chatting with me for 15 minutes to share your experience? Or if you really want to get cheeky with this, you make your call to action and say, so I can cross your name off my to-do list. So, okay, the final use case that I want to talk to you about is for cold prospecting. And I still have the old template that we use with the exact same copy, the sequence, all the follow-ups, everything that we use to generate 700 sales calls with this exact framework. But I only want to share it with people who are serious about implementing what they've learned in the video today, but then also they're going to take my advice on deploying this safely from a deliverability perspective, because the last thing I want to do is encourage you to take this framework and start blasting it all out from your primary domain, sending 10,000 of these templates a day. It's a recipe for failure. And so I really only want to empower those who are going to do this the right way if they want to use this for cold prospecting. So okay, if you're willing to take action and you're willing to do this the right way, then go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button below, comment I agree, and I'll send you over the exact template that we use with a breakdown that you can steal so you know how to apply it. Outside of that though, that's all I got for you. I wish you the best of luck and I will see you on the next video.